Good Wednesday. It's the morning break. I am Rob Patz. It is good to have you here. A little different show. Now, kind of going back to if you can say there are roots to something you've been doing less than a month, then we're going back to our roots today. On today's show, it's just me and you. We're going to hang out and talk. We've got some great stories to talk about, some interesting things. And that's, to me, that's a lot of fun. Remember, coming up Friday, we've got Kyle from EPW going to be with us. I would say Kyle's last name, but it's more challenging than mine. And so I'm not going to say it here on the air. But Kyle will be with us from EPW on Friday, a special edition. We're going to talk about that. Remember, of course, EPW coming to Abundant TV on the first Saturday in October. We are super excited about that. It's going to be a lot of really neat stuff, some great storylines. They're going to kick it off the first Saturday in October. You saw the video, and if you didn't, you need to go to their EPW's page or to mine or to Abundant TV's Facebook page. You can see the video. It was shared. I thought I did a good job. Kind of was like the tough commissioner type thing. Great coffee from the great folks, 7 Weeks Coffee, 7weekscoffee.com. Use the promo code ATV10. Hey, listen, we want to appreciate each and every one of you. I want to tell you that. I appreciate each and every one of you for, well, whether you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, on X, or LinkedIn, and on Rumble. So if you've got Rumble, you can check us out. Now, it's delayed on Rumble because we can only go to so many platforms at once, but you get the delay of it. So if you're a Rumble person, you can check us out. It's usually within, I think it's like an hour or something like that we do that. But anyway, so got shows coming up. Thrive tomorrow with Jason. It's going to be great. That starts at 10 o'clock. A little different than the morning break. The morning break is just, a little later so I can get my work done, honestly, with you. Because, hey, if you don't know, my company does media help for basically television, radio, and podcasting. So if you're thinking about starting a podcast or podcasting is something that you desire to do, we can help you. So get in touch with me. My company does that, and we would love to be a part of your project. We've helped over 300 shows go to television, and probably pretty close to that. I've never done the count, but probably pretty close to that number for radio also. So, hey, listen, we would love to talk to you about it. You can hit me up here on social media. You can find me on X or wherever you are watching this, and shoot me a note. Say, hey, listen, Rob, I've got this idea. I want to start a podcast, and we can help you with it here on our company, Coastal Media. And it's great. Hey, listen, I've got to talk a little bit about some sports because Monday we talked a little bit about it, but some really interesting things happening in sports right now. Seattle Mariners last night, they win their 10th game in a row. And of course, if you're a baseball fan, this is like the optimum time of year. We are into the home stretch. The dog days of summer have now passed, and now we're turning towards fall. And I'm excited. I don't want to overhype the Mariners. 10 straight's great. They've got a great team. Are they the best team in baseball? There's some debate about that, but I don't think they are. I don't think they're there yet. Now, if they can continue to do what they've done over the last 10 games, obviously, you've got to put them in that conversation along with Milwaukee and Detroit. There's a few other teams, New York. I would say you probably got a few teams. I I honestly am not, and I know Houston has had great teams over the last few years, but I don't really feel like Houston is one of those teams that I'm going to be scared of this year. And prove me wrong on that one, and it could happen. I know they've got 3 game series with them. So that's your update, little baseball update. Seahawks, of course, my other team. They did okay. They did, yeah. They did okay. It wasn't like a blowout or anything, but they did beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. And I think that's kind of an interesting whole paradox with of course DK Metcalf there. And I think for DK, I always loved DK. I just his work ethic was at best questionable when he was in Seattle. So yeah, that's my take on that, and not a hot take, but just a regular take. And so that's kind of it. And I think that sports is one of those things that kind of bind us. By the way, and I'm sure Jason will talk about this tomorrow, so I'm going to get out of the way because I know he's going to talk about it. My fantasy football team is 0-2, and we've lost by like a combined 4 points. 2 games, we've lost by like 4 points. If you know anything about fantasy football, that's just that's heartbreaking. I'd rather lose by like 40. That's just me. It's been rough. It's been a rough season so far. I'm gonna get and the funny part about this, and this is what kind of just it just really upsets me, is I have a decent team. It's just nobody's playing well right now. Could be dangerous later in the season. We'll never know. If we get too far out, like early, we may never see the playoffs this year as far as my fantasy football team goes. But that's the update because I know Jason's going to talk about it tomorrow. So, yeah, we're going to get it out of the way right now. That was it. We got a chance to talk about that. Fantasy football 0-2. How are you doing? How's your if you're playing fantasy football, how's your team doing? Are you like week 2 in and no hope left? Are you kind of like if it's the real life Miami Dolphins? Is Josh is oh come on, can't think of the guy's name. The coach for Miami just totally left my head. I was gonna call him nuts. That's crazy. Is he the first coach to get fired this year? Is the Miami head coach the first coach to get fired this year? I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, but you know, it could happen. Could be it. Hey, when we come back, we got some great stories to talk about today, and you know that's what I love to do here on the morning break. We're going to talk about some neat stuff going on. Want to encourage you again. Check out 7 Weeks Coffee. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. When we come back from the break, we've got some interesting news to talk about, and we'll do that after this.
Behind every precious life, there was a choice. Behind every family moment, behind every special memory, there was a choice. A life of joy. A life that is beautifully and wonderfully made. At 7 Weeks Coffee, we are funding the pro-life movement, one cup at a time. Will you let your coffee serve a greater purpose?
Great, folks. It's 7 Weeks Coffee. Remember, use the promo code ATV10. And I talked about this because right now I'm drinking the dark roast. I have that in front of me right here. And I love the dark roast. To me, that's kind of the choice right now. And I want to encourage you though, when you go to 7 Weeks Coffee and order, use the promo code ATV10 when you order. But also, I encourage you to get the 4 pack of coffees. It's a great way to try all of their coffees. It's a great way to kind of get introduced to a small batch roast company like 7 Weeks Coffee. And I'll tell you, and this is just me being very honest with you. I love coffee in general. There isn't a kind that I don't like. Um, yeah, yeah, there's a couple. Not a huge okay, I'm gonna get some heat here. I'm not a huge fan of certain Russian blend roast coffee. I just it is so bitter. I just yeah, I can't do that. But I'll tell you this, with 7 Weeks Coffee, I have not had a coffee out of the 4 pack, a cup of coffee that was bitter, that tasted different, or you know what I'm talking about. If you're a coffee drinker, you know sometimes they don't taste good. I mean, they taste fine, but they're just not great. I've not had a bad cup of coffee with 7 Weeks Coffee. Use the promo code ATV10 when you order. I appreciate it. It's important. They have been a great sponsor for the folks here at Abundant TV for our Abundant TV shows and for everything going on. And by the way, in case you're watching this and you're saying, "What's this guy just sitting there talking about?" It's the morning break. I'm Rob Patz, and we talk a lot about. And the key to this is Abundant TV. Abundant TV is the network that my wife and I own. And you can find it at abundanttv.com or on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, or your favorite in your favorite store, whether that's Apple or Android. And you can download it and watch Christian television 24 hours a day. It is so much fun to do and so much fun to program. And we appreciate it. Hey, over the weekend, and I want to talk about this because I found this to be really amazing. Had to get one last drink from the folks at 7 Weeks Coffee, at least for this segment. I found this to be super exciting. And of course, in light of all the events that have happened over the past week, and I know we all feel a heaviness, but there is a real national revival movement happening at colleges around the country. University of Tennessee had a rally that had 8,000 kids over the weekend that came and they gathered. And the neat thing about this was they had time of praise and worship and different things. There was a message. They did some baptism time. And people say, well, that's great. And here's an argument that being a son of an evangelist, my dad used to go into towns and do evangelistic work, a lot of times tied with the church, sometimes not, because my dad was on radio so much that we would go to towns and it wasn't always tied to a church. It was sometimes just an event put together by some people. But the big key, and my father used to say this all the time, and that is that anytime a move of God happens, a revival happens, there has to be local churches and local mechanisms in place to help plug in those people that are finding their faith. And they had over 8,000 kids attend over the weekend. And the great part, the people that coordinated this event and the people that put it together said something so important in their release to the media, and that is there are going to be Bible studies. There's going to be regular meetings with groups and core groups and all kinds of neat stuff. 8,000 students attending. Listen, and again, not to get heavy into the situation from last week. I appreciate everything that Charlie Kirk did. I was a huge fan of Turning Point USA, and in fact, Turning Point USA, when they were still not a very big company, a very big organization, used to come to my events and have booths at my events. So I've been interacting with Turning Point USA for quite a few years. The legacy that Charlie Kirk left was a man of God, a man who loved his family, and a man who loved his country. The best thing we can do, each of us can do, and I've seen this a lot, is that we are now Charlie Kirk. There's no easy way to say it. No one is ever going to replace Charlie Kirk. I've seen the silly talk, and I've, in fact, interacted with some of those who say, "Oh, this person will be it or this person." There isn't. There won't be. There will never be another Charlie Kirk because there was only one. Now, will there be other people that take up that mantle? Yes. And I encourage you, if you've been moved by the stories from this last week, I encourage you to get involved. Get in contact with folks at Turning Point USA. Make sure your voice is heard. Make sure Charlie's voice is never silenced. For there's evil in this world that wanted to silence a man who had no hate, only love, love for his family, love for his country, and love for a generation who no one else seemed to care about. But Charlie Kirk did. Charlie Kirk met them at their own campus. He met them where they lived. And at no point did he talk down to them. Yet he encouraged them to think. And for a lot of people, when you encourage others to think, that scares them because they prefer indoctrination. They prefer to have one leader telling all what to think. It's called groupthink. And for a lot of people, that is the safe way to live. But for most, like me, groupthink never works. So for that, I appreciate Charlie Kirk. I appreciate Turning Point USA, and they won't be silenced. Trust me. The future is brighter right now than it's ever been. And that's sad to say because the man who his vision was to do what they're doing isn't going to be able to be there to celebrate in those times. That doesn't mean that we should ever forget him. I appreciate each and everything that Charlie and his team did. They were utterly super classy at every one of our events. And that I appreciate. We'll never forget Charlie. We will never forget the time and the place when those that hate freedom, hate our country, and hate the family tried to silence us. Reality is that will never happen. And in fact, if you're watching this and you think you've silenced us, you are sadly mistaken and maybe delusional, because that isn't what happened. I pray for the Kirk family. I pray for his extended family. And I pray for those that have been with him since the start of Turning Point USA. I can't imagine the loss that they're currently feeling. But I know that tomorrow and the next day and the next day, they will be grinding and out there doing the message that Charlie Kirk wanted them to do. There are a lot of people that wonder if Charlie Kirk can see from heaven what is happening, and I can't answer that for you. It's not my place, nor my theological strength to know for sure. But I would hope that Charlie sees what he has accomplished, even in his death, in a country that for a lot of times seems so divided. We appreciate you, Charlie. We're going to miss you. And that is the truth. When we come back, it's going to be my final thoughts after this.
Social media today is noisy, divided, and too often hostile to Christian values, a place where truth is twisted and faith is often silenced. What if there was a place for believers where you could share your story, grow in your faith, and be encouraged every day? Introducing Acts Social, the #1 Christ-centered social platform built to unite Christians worldwide in truth, hope, and love. Share your faith openly. Discover powerful, uplifting content. Join prayer groups. Encourage others. Find news and events from a biblical worldview all in one place. And do it all free from big tech censorship, invasive tracking, and endless ads. Because the body of Christ was never meant to be scattered. It was meant to be together, every day, everywhere. ActsSocial.com, the fastest growing platform for Christ-centered connection. Join us and be part of something eternal.
Hey, I want to thank the great folks at Axe Social. If during the last few months, even the last year, you've noticed the noise that sometimes is on social media, we at Abundant TV, along with the folks at Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby, have gotten together and have become corporate sponsors for a brand new social media platform called Axe Social. That's ACTS social.com. Sign up and then follow me and follow the fastest growing group on there. That's the Abundant Group. We're getting ready, my wife and I, to create some Bible studies. And when we do, we want you to be a part of it. And we desire that. That is something that over the last 2 years, and actually, if you go back to the start of Abundant TV and the first notes that were ever written, we talked about Bible studies and community. See, more than ever, in a time that we live in, which seems crazier and crazier day by day, we need community. We need each other. We are not meant to live and be alone. We're not meant to be an island. Because when we become an island, we lose all track of what really the love of Christ and the love of the body of Christ is. So I'm going to get off my topic, and we're going to go for final thoughts for today, which are not as heavy as what we've talked about. I want to ask you this, and how many of you are planning a fall trip? And now I know a lot of schools now, which we didn't have fall break coming up. So what are you doing? Well, I'm glad you asked me, because I did some research and came up with the top 4 places or areas in the country that people are going to go this fall. And this is according to iTrip. And this is their top 4. And I find this one really interesting. And we're going to get into it. By the way, thanks again to the great folks at 7 Weeks Coffee, because without the coffee, what is the morning break? Unless, of course, you're a tea drinker, then you need to get tea. So here we go. We're going to start them off. For fall, Great Smoky Mountains. Okay. That's number 1. And can I argue with it? I really can't. My company had an event for about 10 years in Pigeon Forge. And that event was done. One of the events that was there was done in late October, which is optimum fall foliage there, late October in Pigeon Forge. So I can't argue with that being number 1. I mean, there are some others that I would say, actually, there's one other on the list that I would say could compete, but that wasn't even that was number 3, not even in the top 4. So it was top 4, but not top 2. So the Great Smoky Mountains, and the reason being on this, and this is kind of interesting, it's because of the tourism stuff. You can go to Dollywood if you're in Pigeon Forge. By the way, next week, National Quartet Convention, if you're going to be down there, give me a shout out. I'd love to hear from you. That's next week. So fall it's the early fall there. It's not quite time yet for real fall foliage. So Great Smoky Mountains is number 1. Love it there. And it is very quiet. And if you're from any larger community, going to the Smokies is like, it's really like a retreat. Ozarks is number 2. That's Arkansas and Missouri area, the lakes, the towns. And again, kind of interesting on this, because really the Ozarks also include Branson, another place that my company does events. And I would say, I will tell you this, and full disclosure, I have been there once in the fall, and it was pretty. Normally the events that I do either happen in the spring or in the summer, which is very beautiful. And I think a lot is cited on this, and this survey that was done is kind of an interesting one for the Ozarks. It was lakes and the water, that you could go and be on the water. And I'll get that, because it's going to be warmer. Also, the colors are vibrant, which again, like I said, full disclosure, only been there once during the fall. So I can't totally. Now, here's the next one. It's number 3. This is the one I thought could easily be number 1 if I had been asked to take in this survey, and that's the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And totally, to be honest with you, it's beautiful water. It's not super cold yet. It's going to get cool though. You're going to want to pack a hoodie, but isn't that what kind of fall is about? It's like getting cooler, and I don't know that to me, I don't know. That's just my thing. So I'd probably put the UP in Michigan, Upper Peninsula for those that are not from the Midwest like I am. And number 4, and I can't disagree with this one either. And I have spent a good amount of time in the fall in this part of the country, and that is Colorado. A lot of people say the scenic drives in the mountains are beautiful during the fall. Can't disagree with them on that one. Love Colorado. One of my favorite states in the country to just hang out in. Um, Love Breckenridge, or as if you're really cool, you call it Breck. Love Aspen, and that whole area to me is just gorgeous. And again, I've spent a good amount of time in Colorado. And so, yeah, that's it. So tell me your favorite fall trip. Where would you want to go? You can always leave a comment here on social media. You can also leave me a message. I would love to hear from you and talk to you and just hang out. This is what the whole gist of the morning break is all about. It's all about you and I hanging out. Having a great time. Talking about sometimes tough issues. We did that today. Sometimes talking about awesome, uplifting stuff, and that's always fun. And you know me, I have to have fun. I can't do this without laughing and having a good time. And maybe today was a little more serious. I promise we're gonna have fun with Kyle from EPW on Friday. Tomorrow, the morning break. We don't do the morning break. We do Thrive. Jason will be hanging out with me. We start at 10 o'clock. You can find us on social media, all of your favorite places for that. It's going to be a great show tomorrow. And again, and I want to mention this because it's kind of funny. Next Wednesday is my birthday. And I can't think of anything more fun than to spend some of it with you. So I'm going to be here on my birthday. Who knows who'll be with me? I don't know how that's going to go, actually, to be honest with you. Playing a lot of things, but not that show. I've actually got guests for the next couple of weeks, but not that show. And so we're excited. Hey, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you have enjoyed the morning break this way. Just you and me hanging out, maybe hitting some hard life issues. And just, man, I appreciate you. Hey, I want to challenge you to do something. Take someone in your friend list today and sit down for about 2 minutes and pray for them. You don't have to ask them what to pray for. Just go pray for them. The world would be a better place if we did more of that. I'm Rob Patz. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the morning break.